let's talk about the arm. So the upper arm is called the humerus, okay? And then this humeral head, this is the shaft, and then here's the elbow. We can see the humeral head joins into the shoulder blade. Okay, not the collarbones, it's the shoulder blade, and you can see it right here. This is a socket. The humeral head joins into the socket of the shoulder blade. Okay, it's a humeral head. As you can see, it's an oval. It's a sphere. Okay. Once we get to the arm, I'll get a little more in depth because there's some things you guys want to know. There should be little channels. That's why I feel weird. Okay, here, see, there's a channel right here. Okay, so that's where your bicep muscles and the tendon sits inside this channel. Okay, so, but I'm not gonna get so in depth for today because it's too small to see anyway. Okay, so overall, the humeral head is, and this for now, just think of a sphere. Okay, here's the shaft. And then I want you to keep it, this is what I want you to do though. I want, inside of the elbow, I want to give a little kick out like this. Okay, make it a little point like this. Okay, outside, we can keep it a little bit subtle. And most of the bone had a little edge to it. Okay, they're not perfectly smooth. There's also has slightly edge. You can see this. You can see highlight. They also has slightly edge to it. They all has slightly edge to it. So, but the most obvious one would be the tibia, the shin bone. That's a full wedge. Okay, so if you notice when I rendered all these bones, they all had a little kind of edge to it, like that. Even a little edge to it. Little edge to it, so it get a little more depth, for your, to your bones. Okay. Okay. So I want to give a little kick out like this. Okay. What this is? Okay. This is called the medial epicondyle. Okay. It's this guy right here. Right here, medial epicondyle, and this side called lateral epicondyle. What I want you guys to make sure you draw this, because if you look at the muscles on the arm, okay, the outside is more lumbar. You have deltoid, tricep supinator muscle, and then the adductor muscle for the thumbs. It gets lumbar, but the inside is a little bit less. Okay, so mine is not really. It's kind of not obvious to see. Some people actually a little more obvious. You can see that bones kick out. Okay, which that give us a moment of, it will tell us where the upper arm ends and lower arm begins. Otherwise, if you draw the outside lumbar, you also draw the inside lump, kind of all this bump on the inside, and so it looks like Popeye's arms, and then you have no structures, and then just bunch of aches. So I want a moment of the structures. I want a moment to show where the arm and upper arm and lower arm begins. So I need that as a corner to show me as a corner. And also the reason why I want you guys to draw this, because later on when we deal with the muscle, when we get to the muscles, there are two major group muscles that starts either side of this elbow. Okay. So you need to know where this 2-point on, and I think I already told you guys earlier. So because when you turn your arms, you need to basically visualize this elbow as a cylinder, which I did more on this side. You see this side, the supination. Remember the hand facing down is called a pronation. Sorry, this is pronation. Pronation. The palm facing up. Imagine holding a ball of soup. It's called supinations. When that happens. When this happens, the axis of my elbow turns. So as you can see on this guy, this one right here, this is the pronation, palm facing down. So you can see the axis of that cylinder. This side is kind of pretty much just straight. to us. Inside, if you look very carefully, inside just have at the elbow it has this bow tie looking called trachea, this little thing right here. And I'll draw it to show you guys. It looks like this. Obviously, if I draw it three-dimensionally, this should be a more rounded like this. Everything more rounded like this. Okay. And that's where your lower arm bone, the radius, and the ulna fits in. You can see the ulna going to fit right in here. See, the ulna going to fit right in here. The radius is going to flow underneath that. So here's the ulna, here's the radius. The ulna starts a smaller head, ends to a larger end, versus the ulna starts as a larger head and finish out a smaller end. So again, this is the trachea. Looks like a bow tie. Here is the radius. Looks like a little flat tube like this. And it's curved. They both bones curve. This is going to curve out towards the outside. Then here's the little bump right there. Okay, and then it's called the radial tubosity. That's also, every time when you see a bump, most of there's a bump right there too. It's called with the bump usually they call tubosity. That means later on there will be a tendons to connect to those bumps. Okay. See how the larger end, I like to hook over to the ball of your hands, the carpals, and here's the ulna. You see how it joins up. And you have this little wedge like this, okay? And then this is going to curve the other directions. I keep the inside straight, keep this bone thin at the bottoms, and also hooks over on the side. Yeah. These little hook called styler process, but to me, I think I like it because you feel like it looks like a wrench hooks over the ball of the hand, allow you to articulate. Little shade. Okay. So here's the carpals, which is the ball of the hands. Right here, the ball of the hands, and then the metacarpals. These are the third digit, and you have phalanges, which is the fingers. Okay. So make sure when you draw fingers, all the knuckles sits up in a curve. They do not line up straight. I'm not gonna get into so much to this, but one thing, since we're looking at the inside of the hand, when we look at inside of the hand, we have slightly bows like this, slightly curve like this. Okay, if you're looking straight on, we curve this way. So it's slightly bow like this. That means there's a little deep, kind of little dip. So this drops in and comes back up. So when you draw these fingers, make sure, see how the way they line up. This finger angle this way, the middle finger and the ring finger flat, the little finger angle up. So we can feel it actually comes up towards us. The thumb, it swings out like this. So how does the fingers looks like? To me, it looks like the pistons in the car, the engines. They kind of looks like this. like that. Again, has a wedge to it. Okay, and then obviously, and then the next digit joins. And they do the same thing, just gets shorter and shorter. But that's the kind of the the concept. Obviously, it's not going to be flat here. You have a little kind of little curve like that. But that's what the shape I'll use. Looks like again like pistons in the engines. Okay. Let's look at this arm really quick. So this is the one that turns. So the humor bones actually has a gesture that also kind of swing this way. Keep the outlines thin. Okay. Find out where that edge. And you can give a little shade. Okay. Here the trachea is still in here. If you can see it, right here. You can call it. Sounds like trachea. Okay. Again, medial epicondyle. Get that. Think of it cylinders. Okay. Here's the radius. Turns over. The ulna sits behind. I'm going to shade the ulna down a little bit because it's on the back. Locks over the ball of the hand. See, this case, now we're looking at the top, so you curve this way. Look at those plane. Look at how the finger line up. I probably could make these digits a little bit higher and drop these lower. But as long as they don't line up, they curved. That should be fine. Okay. I already mentioned this to you guys earlier. When the thumb facing towards your body, the bone cross over. Okay. The red is my radius. The orange is my ulna. Again, when the thumb facing towards your body, the radius cross over. Thumb facing up, they all parallel. They parallel if the pump if we are supinator mode, and if it goes over 90 degrees, the radius takes over. So now the thumb pointing in, the radius takes over, and same time the axis of the elbow will turn.